That's not even a word, and I agree with you.
What? What happened? Oh, we had a foolproof plan. Take Soldier Boy from location A, deliver him to location B, make him detonate and kill Homelander. Mission accomplished. What happened? What? If you had told me that at the beginning of the season, Black Noir was gonna die the way he died, if you were gonna tell me that at the beginning of this season, after dragging Soldier Boy's ass from Russia to California to the Midwest to fucking New York, that we would have been we would have been bamboozled, we would have been smeckledwarfed, that Soldier Boy would end up having to fight both Homelander and Butcher, I'd have called you a fucking liar. Because that was the team up that I did not expect at all. At all. First off, I'm furious. Like, that's what it's the only way. There's a level of excitement for me where I'm hyped as shit, but at the exact same time, there's a part of me that's absolutely fucking furious. Because y'all did Black Noir absolutely fucking dirty. Because why even give me the emotional backstory of Black Noir if you were just gonna gerbait me with fucking Homelander punching him through the gut and just like breaking his spine? Why emotionally invest me in that man? I'm so upset because I was prepared, 100% prepared for Noir and Soldier Boy to throw down. Like, I wanted to see them throw hands because my man was shook. He came back shook. The conversation between both him and Homelander was fantastic because we get to see, it's something that, in my opinion, was low-key kind of pulled from Watchmen, where Adrian Veidt is like, you know, to the common eye, looking at Dr. Manhattan, you wouldn't be able to tell what's wrong with him. You would just think that he's just this stone statue of no emotion. But the subtle facial twitches give away a lot about what's going on mentally with Dr. Manhattan. I like the fact that Homelander was like, my boy, I've been able to see through that suit since like day one. I see all of your battle scars. I see the way in which like your face goes into like that grin. I've seen you when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're telling the truth, when you're lying. Because that more or less tells you that Homelander has essentially had a bead on everyone. And I actually like the fact that Homelander felt emotional about having to kill Noir. Like, you can see that he was super happy when Noir came back. Because it's like, okay, Noir didn't betray me. Homie was just shook because he was afraid to fight Soldier Boy. So when Noir came back, he was excited. He was like, okay, my boy's back. But then once the gears start turning, it's like, yeah, my boy's back, but you used to be on like my dad's team, and you low-key kind of knew that he was my dad, and you ain't tell me shit, even though you knew how much I really wanted a father. So I really wasn't expecting in that moment for him to kill Noir. Not that way. Like, when Noir died, I think I paused because I was just absolutely fucking furious for about 30 seconds before I continued the movie. Now, I have no idea what makes that scene with Ashley, A-Train, and the Deep is funny as shit. Because number one, you have the Deep doing whatever it takes to essentially be on Homelander's side. That's gonna fuck him in the ass, eventually. Then Ashley taking off the wig and revealing that she's fucking bald because she's essentially pulled out all her fucking hair and it's fallen out, dealing with Homelander's superhero bullshit, was tragic. I feel bad for Ashley, even though she's probably going to end up having to hold the bag in regards to who takes the blame for the superhero nonsense. Because you notice we haven't seen Edgar in like forever. Ashley is the head and face of Vought. Once the Homelander situation tips over, which the end of this episode is showing that, or not even the end of this episode, there are certain things that happen in this episode that kind of show that the situation is going to tip right the fuck over. Once it tips over, she's going to be left holding the bag as the human responsible for the soups, basically running buck wild, which is going to open up the door for Edgar to just slide right back in and be like, see, I ran the company for 30 fucking years, no issues. This young ass girl takes over for 1 year, Homelander becomes a fucking supervillain. Well, I can't say that I didn't expect Maeve to betray the team. Low-key did. When she showed up, I'm like, no, Maeve's whole thing is about killing Homelander. Butcher's whole thing is about killing Homelander. Which is why, when they finally had Homelander, even though Ryan was there, I thought Butcher was going to pull the trigger. But for whatever reason, like, it's like Butcher is willing to kill 1,000 people except for Huey and Ryan. And those two people always fuck up his plan. If he had pulled the trigger, Homelander's dead. Chances are, Ryan wouldn't fucking die. Chances are, Ryan would have definitely died. But at the exact same time, I did not expect Soulja Boy to essentially react that way. Because the entire time, well, no, I feel as though the conversation Soulja Boy had with Butcher about his father was telling. It was telling that he was also going to be a piece of shit dad. Which is essentially when he sees Homelander and he sees Ryan, he berates Homelander. Calls Homelander weak and calls him a fucking pussy. Then instantaneously attempts to kill him. Ryan starts to step in the way and he just like swats him away. And it's like, yo, Soulja Boy, what happened to like 5 minutes ago when you're all like, you know, me and Countess were wondering that we were going to raise some tykes of our own. Where the fuck did that go? Because apparently that went out the goddamn window the second you arrived at Vought and decided that you were going to kill Homelander. Because it really felt like when he made that call last episode that he was having second thoughts about killing Homelander. But it's like, as he continued and as he got there, I don't know, maybe it's internal monologue where he kind of just ended up blaming Homelander for all the shit that he went through. And he just kind of decided, you know what, fuck it, even though he's my son, we're just gonna kill him. Screw the whole making me want to raise him. And then the monologue about, you know, if I was the one who raised you, you wouldn't have turned into such a fucking disappointment. It's the exact same line that his father used on him, which is baffling. But then again, typically children who are subject to abuse at a young age usually end up being abusers of their own kids, because they feel as though that's how you toughen up your kids and you show them tough love and turn them into men. So it's not really shocking that Soulja Boy essentially defaulted to like the 1920s in regards to the disciplining and raising your fucking child and wanted to actually kill Homelander. That doesn't shock me. The fight sequence at the end of this is absolutely fantastic because everyone gets to throw down. Homelander and Butcher team up for the energy beam to blast Soulja Boy back. Soulja Boy 1v1ing Butcher, the boys showing up, him manhandling Starlight until she gets like the superpower boost, which now I really have to ask the question, what exactly is Starlight's power? Because at first I thought that like she basically pulled energy from light sources, but it didn't supercharge her. Like basically she was a battery, she was a Kryptonian, where if there was a light source around, she could just like drain the light source and it would put her at 100%. Then as she used her energy, she would have to like drain another light source to get back up to full, like if there's electricity around. But Starlight essentially turns into a Super Saiyan. And you're in the middle of a city, basically at all times. How are you not always a Super Saiyan? There's always an energy source in New York City. Like, if she walks into Times Square to fight Homelander, from what we see this episode, Starlight should literally be the most powerful being on the planet, just absorbing an entire city's electricity into herself and turning into just pure energy to dominate anyone. But she gets her Super Saiyan moment. She blasts back Soulja Boy, they jump on top of him. He decides that he's gonna go Supernova. Maeve is throwing down with Homelander. I'm proud of Maeve. She did not go out the way in which her comic book counterpart did, which I always felt was a cheap cop-out. Because in the comic book, she just gets punched in the head one time and she instantaneously dies. No. Maeve throws down with Homelander. There's a reason why they always called Maeve the second strongest suit. Also, Maeve is definitely stronger than Stormfront. Because if you remember in the middle of last season, Homelander blasts Stormfront with his heat vision and it burns her skin. Maeve eats that with no damage on her skin whatsoever, and then instantly starts deflecting it Wonder Woman style with the gauntlet. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Then she punched Homelander in the face and broke his nose. And it's like, yo! Like, the best that Butcher and the company could do jumping this man was a bruise on his cheek. Like, broke his nose, stabbed the fucking metal rod through his ear to the point that he was bleeding. So, we can confirm now that Homelander is not as strong as Omni-Man or Superman, right? Because we definitely see Maeve, who's weaker than him, rock his shit and break his nose. Also, we see them take she took a metal pencil, John Wick style, and jams it into his ear and ruptures his eardrum. Definitely not as durable. Absolutely not. Because it seems as though, well, at least in Maeve's regard, like Homelander kind of like takes his thumb and jams it into her eye. I don't know if that same technique would technically work on Homelander. Maybe if it's somebody who has super strength, they'd be able to just like jam it in there and just like kill him. But for the most part, the man takes damage. And it's weird seeing the paternal instincts of both Butcher and Homelander activate to protect Ryan, because it's like, you two assholes absolutely hate each other. Why? We're teaming up now? For the kid? We could have got the kid in episode 1 and squashed this beef if that's the fucking case. But I did enjoy them coming together to essentially protect Ryan. Butcher even runs over and covers Ryan when Soulja Boy is about to go supernova. Doesn't happen. Maeve tackles him out the window. He detonates in the air and wipes out like half of the top floors of Vought. Maeve survives, which is surprising because I thought that shooter ate shit and died. Which now we know the extent of essentially Soulja Boy's power. Crimson Countess got burnt to a crisp, and I'm assuming that's because her durability is extremely low, which means that if Soulja Boy had detonated that energy blast, because Homelander and Maeve are top tier, he would have just basically removed their powers, but they would have survived because of their durability. Their durability would have survived the blast, but once they survived the blast, they were reverted back to being essentially human. It burns out the V in their cells. Same thing with is it the same thing with Homelander? Because now we know that Homelander isn't shot up to the eyeballs with V. He's a natural birth. So does the blast work on people that are naturally born? Or does it only burn out the V out of the system of individuals who's been shot up with V from childhood? Who knows? Maybe we'll get those answers next season. I really fucking hope that we... I really hope that we do. Like, cross the board 100%. I hope that we do. And we see the end where Starlight finally officially joins the boys. Butcher has probably like 12 months to live. Fucking head-popping bitch is now the VP. We know who the person that Deep essentially killed was. She basically had him killed so she can take that spot, which means that this is probably going to end the way in which the comic books did, with Homelander or whoever taking over the White House to essentially, because you see, like, he's already started that rhetoric where he's like, oh, they're just fucking humans and we're the superior men. So he's definitely moving towards that direction. It's going to be interesting to see exactly if he did pull that trigger at the end where he lasers that guy at Homelander Tower. Well, it's not Homelander Tower. It is. He owns the building now that Edgar is no longer there. Vought belongs to Homelander. So it basically is Homelander Tower now that he's basically said he does not need the 7. But we see him laser that guy at the statue of Soulja Boy, and the people start cheering. So Ryan, we gotta go too? We gotta kill you too? So what you're saying is, like, Butcher should have just let him detonate and wipe, like, your whole family off the map. Because it seems as though the apples don't fall far from the tree. Soulja Boy ain't shit. Homelander ain't shit. Ryan turned out not to be shit because he starts smiling towards the end, and it's like, okay, it looks like you gotta die too, huh? I see that coming, Homelander Jr. Homelander Jr. you're gonna have to bite the farm as well, and I feel as though Butcher's gonna be the one that pulls that trigger and kills the kid. Like, that's definitely going to be the thing that happens in next season, which is Butcher is probably going to be the one that pulls the trigger, and he's probably going to be the one that kills Ryan. And it really seems as though the show is at least moving away from, in my opinion, how shitty the comic books ended, in the fact that it really looks as though everyone might survive. There's always an asterisk next to it about whether or not somebody might survive, but it really does feel as though the show is moving towards a direction where the characters may accomplish their goals and then kind of go off in their own direction, which is how the fucking comic book should have ended, instead of Butcher just like turning around and massacring the entire team for some bullshit arbitrary reason. But we'll see. I fucking love this. It's weird as shit that I decided to record this before I recorded Thor, at least the spoiler-free review, because there's a lot to talk about in Thor. There's a lot to talk about in Thor. But yeah, the boy is dope as hell. Let me know how you feel about it. Comment below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.